Hi everyone, welcome back to Wait It's a Podcast with your host, me, Kayla. Um, actually, I'm despising the lighting in here, but it's raining today, so maybe this is what we're dealing with. Wait, how about let me turn on this light? Is this too bright? Yeah, yeah, that's way too bright. Okay. Hold on, hold the phone. Okay, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps this is it. Perhaps we got it. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, you can see me. I'm not in the dark. We're in good shape. Welcome back. I hope you all are doing well. I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. It's quite gloomy today, and it's all rainy, but I'm feeling great. I'm feeling well rested. I slept for 8 hours, which never happened, so I'm feeling fab, if I do say so myself. But pulse check. How am I doing? I had my show this weekend. Went well. Well, actually, no. I endured multiple mishaps and things not going as they should. Yet the show happened, and that is in and of itself a success. Um, I think a big thing I've been trying to work on, and I've talked about on this podcast, is letting go of perfectionism because I'm never going to be perfect. It's not going to Anything I do and produce is never going to be perfect, and to sit in that and be okay with that, because it still can be great work, it can still be my best work, and not be perfect. So this weekend leading up to it, I made this piece in maybe 8 hours, right? So the fastest I've ever created a work. I think a lot of things conceptually weren't fully fleshed out in the way that I normally would have them fully created and understood. But that's also why I presented it as a work in progress. I was working with dancers instead of just creating a solo, which also lends itself to just scheduling issues and things coming up as life does. But because we were working on such a strict schedule, because it was so close, that led to things not being as completed as I would have wanted them to. But I think being on the back end of it after the performance, I'm feeling good. And I think that is good. Because, yeah, we were dealing with scheduling stuff on the day of the show. Oh, for our tech, my dancers couldn't come, so only I went for our tech. For our dress, I had someone covering for me at work, but then she had to call out, and it was a family emergency, which definitely supersedes the performance I had, but that also meant I had to go into work. Um, so yeah, I missed our lighting moment, our lighting tech or lighting rehearsal. So we went straight into dress, me and my other two dancers, and they're fabulous, and I thank God for them. And there were mishaps with the lighting because I wasn't there to kind of look at everything. So everything was just kind of nothing how I would have wanted it to go. Yet the show happened, and I think we did pretty well. I haven't watched the video actually, and I haven't watched the video mainly because I forgot that I have it, and then of the performance, a video of the performance, and then also I kind of want to let it go. I want to sit in the fact that I made something quickly that may not have been ideally something. If you were to ask me, I would say probably is not my best work, yet it was created, and I got great feedback on it, which to me means it's much better than I am perceiving it to be. um and yeah, I'm kind of living in letting something not be perfect, yet it can still be good, and those things can coexist, and loving that piece of art I made, and knowing that I can come back to it and pick it apart, put things back together and create something really cool, that's even closer to something that I've envisioned. So yeah, I feel like this week was a success. I think it was a breakthrough for me mentally, when it comes to letting go of perfection. Because what does that mean also? And even when I have the time and the resources available to work on something endlessly, what happens is I'm never satisfied, and there's always a part of me that's in a constant state of stress because I'm trying to make something perfect that can never be perfect. So I also think there's a level of ease I had this weekend because I was like, so many things are going wrong that I have to let it go. And if you were to ask me, if you would have seen me on Saturday, you would think, oh my God, Kayla's having the most fun she's ever had. And I was having such a good time because there was just levity. There was a sense of levity about everything for me, until it was the commute from work to the theater. That was crazy town because it was all the way downtown. I actually don't know where I was. Maybe Soho. I've got to learn that. I don't know where I was on earth, but I was going downtown from where I was, and everyone was everywhere, and everyone was filling up the sidewalks. No one was walking. It was chaotic. I was overwhelmed. That was probably the most stressful I was, but that's because I hate slow walkers. And that's neither here nor there. Nothing relevant to the performance. Anyway, yes, I felt great about the performance. So that's exciting. Otherwise, life is good. Right now, I'm in the stage of trying to decorate my room because it's time. I've lived in this apartment for like 2.5 months. It's time to decorate my room. But here's the thing. I'm trying to, and if anyone has suggestions, let me know. I'm trying to figure out a way to create and decorate my room that is economically, affordable. I do it in an economically sufficient way, in an affordable way, while also having an element of my own creativity in it. And so I was thinking, I've been obsessed with those matchbook frames. And so I was thinking of making, maybe, because I downloaded a free trial of Canva Pro, of creating a bunch of those, or maybe one or two of those for my room, and print it large, get a large frame, hang that up. But I also was thinking of doing like a movie wall because I'm a big movie person, big film person. So I was thinking of a movie wall of all of my favorite films, maybe like my Letterboxd top 4, but in real life. Hello, she's an AMC A-lister. Have I mentioned that before? I don't know. And I also need a rug. There's just so much. I need a new shelf. My shelf I got because my first apartment, it was a small room. So I didn't have enough room for a ton of furniture. So we got a small shelf that was like Target build it for $30, but it was yay high. Okay. Yay high, meaning barely off the ground, like the size of a coffee table. And it was fine for that room. But now in my room that I just moved into, that's so much larger, it sticks out like a sore thumb, mainly because I only have 3 pieces of furniture in the room. So you walk in and you're like, what is that tiny coffee table that's supposed to be what? It's supposed to hold clothes? I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's randomly in the corner and it sticks out and it looks insane, and I don't have enough room for anything, and it's just a mess. There's like no way to clean my room where it doesn't look a mess or it doesn't look empty as hell. Like it looks like I'm like in confinement, like I'm in prison. Like it's so empty. So I need to fix it. So I need to get a shelf. I think I want a rug. I think those are the big things because I have a bed, I have my mirror, I have my closet. That's all well and good. Apart from the practical things of a rug and a shelf, I now need to figure out, well, no, not I now. I still haven't even gotten those 2 things. Once I get those 2 things, I then have to figure out what I want to put on my walls. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to go the movie route and have my room just be filled with all my favorite films, or if I want it to go the music route, filled with all my favorite songs and albums, and have like, I don't know, having the album covers just all over my wall, or if I want to do the matchbook art thing and just do it a bunch of artwork that I've created, that I create digitally, or go and find and buy from people, or find on Etsy, whatever. I don't know what to do. And I could do all 3, sure, but how do I do it in a way that isn't too loud? Well, isn't too loud for me and my taste. Because I guess it can never be too loud if it's what you like, but isn't too overwhelming. Like I don't walk into my room and like freak out, because I'm just seeing eyes everywhere. It's just albums and songs and movies, and yeah. Like I would like some open space, but also another part of me is like, do I want a projector to project movies on because I have this huge wall that's empty. I could do that. I don't know. But also at that point, it's like, why not get a television perhaps? Like, why am I getting a projector? I don't know. I'm all over the place. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my room, but I like have to do it because last year I kept putting off what to do with my room because I was just being cheap and I didn't want to pay. Well, because everything's expensive nowadays. Can we get into that? Hello. but I didn't want to like pay to do it. And then a year goes by, and I never, I think, allowed myself to get settled in my own space. Since I'm paying for the space, might as well make it feel like home. So yeah, the room saga continues, and I haven't decided, and I am so back and forth on what I want it to look like. I want it to be cool. I want it to be my favorite things. But then I think about the things that I love, and it's so much. I love so many things, and I'm into so many things, and I have so many like hobbies and interests that I don't know how to put them all on my wall. Also, speaking of music on my wall, let's shout out Grammy noms came out this week. Shout out Leon Thomas and shout out Olivia Dean, my faves, for being nominated. Thank you, thank you. I think Leon's nominated for album of the year, right? Or record of the year, and then Olivia best new. They're both nominated for best new artists, and so I'm hoping it goes to one of them. Fingers crossed, but who knows? But also, when it comes to the Grammys, I have no opinion. When people get like really intense about the Grammy, this is my thing with award shows, because people get really intense about them, like fans of artists or fans of musicians, films, whatever, for award shows. People get really intense about it. I get intense about, not even, I was gonna say I get intense about the Oscars, but I don't think I do, because art is so subjective, and I think because my music taste sometimes can be really diverse. Not sometimes. I think it is really diverse, the things that I listen to and I like, and I'm willing and open-minded enough, I think, to get into a lot of things. Like, there's very few things where I'm like, I don't like that at all, and I don't see why anyone would like that. Most music, even if I don't like it myself, I can totally understand how it can appeal to someone who's a different kind of person than I am. I can usually pinpoint the kind of people that would enjoy that type of music, and therefore I'm like, I totally understand why it not only deserves a space but has a space in the zeitgeist. You know what I mean? So I think that's why when it comes to the Grammys specifically, I'm like, yeah, that person won or didn't win. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that goes into those award shows, number one, that I think take it with a grain of salt. I remember I was watching a podcast one time, and I think it was the Zach Sang show, and I forgot who was interviewing, but or maybe it was literally Ariana Grande. Maybe it was like actually Ariana Grande, one of the biggest pop stars in the world. I'm like, who was he interviewing? God, I don't know, small niche artist. No, he was interviewing Ariana Grande, I'm pretty sure, and she was talking about, because I think he was asking her about Grammys, and I'm not sure, I'm not quite well versed on how many she's won or hasn't won, or if she hasn't won any, but I'm pretty sure she's been nominated. But anyway, she was talking about that, and she was saying how some of her, and if it wasn't Ariana Grande, oops, forgive me, but she was saying, as I continue to quote her, it may not be Ariana Grande at all, but I'm going to say it as if it was her. She was saying how like some of her favorite artists in the world have been nominated and have won plenty of Grammys, tons of Grammys, right? But also some of her other favorite artists that have inspired her music the most haven't won any, right? And don't have sometimes even a nomination to their name. And having that nuance in the conversation between what is good music, what is a Grammy Award winning album, song, musician, whatever, it's just so nuanced there, because art is everywhere and it's in everything. And not to be so woo abstract, but there's so much music being made, there's so much film being made and created that, yeah, some of the best art that I've ever encountered has never been even in the conversation of deserving of a Grammy or deserving of an Oscar, but it's still some of the best artwork I think I've been in touch with, right? But then in the same breath, some of the artwork that's impacted my life the most, aka Lemonade. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite album of all time. And it completely shifted my brain chemistry. I know people say that all the time, but truly, when I was 16 and it came out, and Beyonce was nominated for Album of the Year for that and didn't win. And I was so sad about that. But Also Adele won, and I love Adele, and that album, her album was great. And so it's just so, I don't know, it's so complex. Or it's not complex, it's just nuanced. And when it comes to art, no one's ever going to be completely satisfied. When it comes to awarding art, no one's ever going to be completely satisfied, because at the root of it, we're dealing with a form of expression that is incredibly subjective, like I said, but also is deeply personal to the people that are creating said art. So, and then is also deeply to the people engaging with said art, right? So someone else who's engaging with another album. So again, back to best new artist. I'm like Olivia Dean, Leon Thomas. Those are my picks for best new artist. And forgive me, I'm blanking on other people on that list. But someone else might say, I think Somber is nominated, and Somber's great too. So to be like, Somber's work is what has influenced me and impacted me the most in the last year or two, or however long he's been kind of hitting this like big upward trajectory in his career. Someone right next to me would say, no, he is deserving of it. He is who has impacted me or impacted a part of my life since I first heard his music or encountered his stuff. And I think that's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm too kumbaya. That may just be me. But I think music's beautiful, and it's so personal in every way, to the people creating it, to the people engaging with it, that it's so hard to award and to satisfy people. So and I think a lot of people know that. I think we all know that. So why people still get up in arms when the results of something come out, I don't know, I find it strange. I think if we're talking about maybe accessibility, or the kinds of people that are rewarded throughout history, right? When we're looking at things from an inclusive lens, right? So when we're talking about Black artists or other artists of color who have not, their art hasn't been recognized throughout history, right? Or women or non-binary folks or whoever, queer art, when we're having those kind of conversations, right? Or the conversations of artists that come from artistic backgrounds, affluent artistic backgrounds, right? They're the children of other famous artists versus people that are kind of, getting out the mud, like making it themselves with no resources. We're having those conversations about who is getting recognized for their art because they're marginalized in any sort of way and are of a marginalized experience and are often overlooked because of that, then I think that is most definitely a worthwhile conversation that needs to happen and is important when we're talking about the progression of art and the expansiveness of what art can be and how to ensure all stories that are being told, we all as consumers of art get access to them. I think when we're having conversations about that, I think that's amazing. And I think those conversations always need to be pushed to the forefront. But I mean, like, the very surface level conversations of, I like this music, that's why it should have won. No, I like this music, that's why it should have won. I think that's when it, and like, I think I can understand why that won and why people love it and why people are happy about it, right? I think that's when it gets a little intense, especially on social media between like fan bases and things like that. It's an interesting thing to see. I don't know. Anyway, I went on such a long rant, but it kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about, which is art and like the political state of the world, and how I've been thinking a lot about the art I'm making, the art I want to make, and how that's just starting to shift. I think is we're living in very unprecedented times, but also unfortunately not unprecedented. I think also parts of it are incredibly cyclical, and we're seeing um, the treatment of people in this country, and it's very reflective and very familiar in the way that we've treated as a society in America and abroad, have treated people throughout history, and the alienation of working class people, the forgotten class, right? The harassment and disenfranchisement of millions and millions of Americans and disenfranchised people, folks in this country. And I think I've been thinking about that so much that it's made me think more and more about art that I'm making and I want to make and I want to be a part of. And yeah, I'm in this not weird, but kind of transitional, excuse me, period where I'm like, I want my art to mean something. I want the art I engage with. I want to be more proactive, I guess I should say, in making sure that the art I'm making is saying something and has meaning and depth. Maybe not all the time. Art can be its most fun when it's just that. We're creating something from deep within us, and maybe it's meaningless, or maybe it's truly just for entertainment and enjoyment, and that in itself is its own depth, right? I was just watching White Chicks yesterday again, and I I love that movie. I love Negro, please. sorry, sorry. I love that movie. So art can also be at its most successful and its most impactful when it's just bringing joy to people, which is that movie for me. You want to talk about mothers? Okay, I'm gonna relax. Anyway, back to like what I was talking about. That's serious. Oh my god, what was I talking about? I was talking about like the seriousness and the depth of art, and I'm just, oh my gosh. Anyway, art is important. We should make it, and I want to make sure I'm making art that says something, even if that thing is just me saying find joy in life, or if it's something much deeper than that. Whatever it is, I want to make sure it's always saying something. But yeah, anyway, White Chicks is awesome. It's such a good movie. Anyway, oh, guys, also, one thing about me, I've never seen, just thinking of the Wayans brothers, I've never seen the Scary Movie movies, which I feel like I need to get on that. Perhaps I start watching it and come back with my review, because I've never watched it. And whenever I've watched specifically the Scream movie, this is so random and specific, but whenever I'm watching the Scream movie with someone, the first Scream movie, I guess they spoof it in one of the Scary movies that came out. And whenever I show someone that movie, they can never take it seriously. They're like, I don't even know what specific scenes, but and they're always laughing because they're like, it's just like Scary Movie. It's so funny, da 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 da. And I never understand what they're talking about. So I think I need to watch Scary Movie so I understand why Scream is funny, because Scream is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Spoofy horror movies, funny horror movies. And I want to get what makes the opening scene funny when Drew Barrymore's like dying. I'm like, what's funny about that? Um, but yeah, so maybe I'll watch the Scary Movies and report back my review. But yeah, otherwise I'm doing well. I've just been this episode has been kind of serious. Sorry it's not as funny. Sorry I'm not haha funny, but I'd argue, am I ever? Hey, am I ever funny? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But yeah. Anyway, I've just been thinking a lot about that. And life, art, my place in this world, being present in every part of my life and enjoying this part of my life, even the parts that can be very hard and very confusing or very transitional, like I said. And I'm just kind of always finding new parts of myself. I think when we talk about growing pains, and that goes with what I was talking about with the kind of figuring out what kind of art I want to make. I'm talking about growing pains that can be difficult, but finding ways to enjoy the life that I have now, even if I'm not quite sure where I'm going. But hey, we shall figure it out. Or not. Or not. And that's okay too. Anyway, thanks you guys for listening. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, that's okay. That's okay. Don't tell me that my ego's fragile. But yeah, thank you all so much. Have a great day. And I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, and the elephant in the room is my conditioning gel we used today. Shine and Jam. All right. Bye, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.